Once you open the door, you'll run into a new variation of the Bokoblin, and these are like zombie Bokoblin or cursed Bokoblin. A few cool things about them is if you hold out your sacred shield, they're sort of scared of it and they'll back away. That's kind of cool and sort of makes sense since I guess the goddess, their sacred shield or the goddess shield, if you've upgraded it, has effect on the undead. I don't know. A few things about these cursed Bokoblin. They're incredibly slow moving and they're just like zombies. Well, they won't try to bite you or anything, but they just try to grab, and they're sort of like the version of Redeads from, or Gibdos from previous Zelda games. For the most part, they're fairly simple. They have a ton of health, though. That's one thing unique about them. Your best bet is to hit them a few times, knock them over, and then deliver a finishing blow to knock them out, or to fully defeat them, or a fatal blow, I should say. That's the best way of going about defeating these particular Bokoblin. You could use your beetle here. There's like these eyes here. It's like a massive face that kind of looks kind of scary. But you could use your beetle, and there's some recovery hearts, and there's some rupees for you to collect behind the eyes. Afterwards, you just want to progress along the pathway, and there's a bunch of these or more cursed Bokoblin along the path. I should mention that these are cursed or evil enemies, so they will occasionally leave behind evil crystals. So previously, the only way to get these evil crystals was through like treasure chests that have rare treasure, but now that we have, this is the first of basically the cursed enemies, they also leave behind cursed rewards. Sort of like how there was like the fire family of enemies. There's the fire Keese, the fire Choo Choo. Then there was the electric. There was like the thunder Keese, the electric Choo Choo, and the the spoon, the electric spoon, electro spoon, I should say. There's also a cursed variety, and the first of these is the cursed Bokoblin. But later on in the game, we're gonna run into more of these dark and cursed enemies. You'll find that there's some blessed butterflies over here, so you can strum away with your harp, and this will cause a wall to appear. Afterwards, just raise your sword to the top, and once it's charged up, you'll be able to draw on here. And as I mentioned earlier, you can get a bunch of things. I'm just going to draw a little circle here, because that's going to give me some bombs. You could also draw a Triforce symbol. If you draw a Triforce symbol, which is basically 3 little triangles. I do that later in the video walkthrough at another one of the goddess walls. That leaves behind fairies. Alternatively, you can actually draw a little heart. You can get recovery hearts, and you can also draw a rupee, and you can gain some rupees. So it's kind of cool, kind of fun. A lot of things you could draw. If at any point on those goddess walls, if you ever draw and fail, you'll just get 3 recovery hearts, I believe. Anyway, you want to send the beetle through the little eyes here and hit the crystal switch. If you read the stone tablet that was in that area, it basically gives you a hint of what you need to do. Afterwards, jump across the lily pads once again, and once you are over here now that that like waterfall of cursed water or whatever that is has disappeared, you'll be able to use the beetle to grab onto the bomb, and from here you can use the bomb to blow up the nearby boulder that was sort of blocking our path before. With the boulder out of the way, we'll now be able to use the whip to swing across. There was a bar that was like hanging above that area, and we can latch onto that bar with the whip and swing across and land onto the platform where the boulder previously stood. One thing I haven't really commented on is this area, this underground area. It's sort of like the land of the dead type place. I really like it. It's got that unsettling music. It's sort of like a whole unique part of the Ancient Cistern, and sort of like a whole new location within the dungeon itself. It's kind of sweet, kind of cool. I wish there was more places like this. Anyway, this particular puzzle actually puzzled me quite a bit. I didn't see that there was this ledge here at all, so I kept trying to run along this moving platform, like sort of strategically, without actually spinning the direction it's turning. And I was trying to sort of stay inside, and you're almost able to do it. To my knowledge, you cannot actually progress without actually spinning the or turning the direction the platform is spinning. You can come very close, and maybe you could do it, but I'm sure it's rather difficult if you can, because I did come very close, and in fact I was so close that's why I kept trying at it, thinking that was the way you had to do it. Anyway, you're gonna actually have to go and spin or pull that same lever a second time, since not only does it control the ground like platform, but it also controls the large like cylinder platforms as well. So after pulling it, you want to grab onto the vines of the cylinder platform and just like climb on over to the other ledge all the way to the other side. Afterwards, just run straight ahead and you'll run into some fire keys, which are sort of oddly placed, I should say. I mean, we've fought I guess it's kind of cool that they just tossed them in here, but this sort of creeped me out, and they showed this in the trailer, and I thought it was going to be a lot more unique than it really is. All you really have to do is just hold up on the joystick, and yeah, sure, some of the cursed bokoblins will catch up to you and grab onto you, but you can just shake away and then they'll fall down below. This is just one of the things where it looks better than it really is. There really is nothing of much excitement going on here, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. It's like makes you feel like you're in a zombie movie or a zombie, video game. Kind of cool. Anyway, there's another one of those levers here. You want to grab onto it, latch on, and this will cause a little platform to extend across. Afterwards, there's the much larger little bar lever once again, and we want to pull it and then put it back in place. And since we now have a new, basically, entrance to the underground area, the area we just came up from the rope, we can now go back to the underground area while the middle structure is still up. And this will cause a few new things. In particular, there was that treasure chest that Fi mentions like much earlier on in the game, or in the dungeon, that we can now get to. There's a little lever here that creates a little water geyser. You could open it if you'd really like to. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than making it easier to navigate, but point being is once we open the treasure chest, something unique will happen. But I like how this area is sort of surrounded by bones all over the place. It's sort of like the grave of whatever lived here, or maybe it's just dead bokoblin. Anyway, once you get it, all these cursed bokoblin will just appear, and that structure is falling down. You really don't even have to do anything with these bokoblins. You can just run right by them, and then once you jump onto the ledge, the massive structure just commits massive murder and defeats all the bokoblins. I guess they're sort of undead bokoblins, so they're already dead. So it's not really killing anything. Right. Anyway, it's pretty much time for the boss. There really isn't too much to do. Just some word of advice, if you'd really like to, before entering the boss room, you could go and fill up some potions if you think you need some, or fairies if you want to grab any. But in general, the boss of this dungeon is a lot of fun, and its difficulty is okay. It's not like obnoxiously difficult, but you shouldn't really need potions. One thing that's kind of strange here, you can actually read that little tablet, and Fi mentions, yeah, you need to put the key in here. The thing is, the game is not connected in terms of the order of how you do things. In fact, if you put the key in before ever reading the tablet, as soon as you put the key in, the whole top structure of this room sort of opens up, allowing you to basically climb up higher. But if you do this beforehand, and then read the structure, Fi sort of just says the same thing again. I read it the first time, so it didn't actually repeat it, but it's like, yeah, I just opened it, so why is Fi telling me, yeah, you need to open this? I don't know. Anyway, there's 4 more of these little keyhole things, so go ahead and pull them with the whip, and once all 4 of them have been pulled, this will cause the massive center structure to once again change its how it's structured a little bit, and this will take you to the top of the dungeon, pretty much. Once you arrive at the very top, there's a couple of recovery hearts that's just around the area, so be sure to pick those up to fill up your hearts. Afterwards, you can go ahead and save using the bird statue, and then that's pretty much it. We're ready to take on the boss, so join me for the next video, and we will take on the boss of the Ancient Cistern.